It's crazy how one moment, one sentence can flip your entire life upside down. Mine came from my sister-in-law, standing in my parents' living room, smirking like she just won the lottery. "Your daughter is pregnant," she said, her voice dripping with satisfaction. I could feel the air being sucked out of the room. My father's face twisted in fury. My mother's hand clutched over her heart as if she was about to faint. And me? I stood frozen, a lump in my throat so thick I couldn't even breathe, let alone defend myself. Before I get into the chaos that followed, let me take you back to where it all started. Because trust me, this isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about resilience, revenge, and proving everyone wrong. If you love stories with twists, heartbreak, and redemption, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, because this one is about to get wild. I grew up in a strict household where my parents had a very clear idea of what my life should be. I was supposed to be the perfect daughter, obedient, respectful, and most importantly, pure. My father especially had a reputation in our community, one built on discipline and honor. And my mother? She was the enforcer of the rules, ensuring I never stepped out of line. But what they didn't realize was that I was suffocating under their expectations. Then came Jake, my first love, my everything. He was kind, charming, and the only person who ever made me feel truly seen. We met at college, and despite knowing my parents would never approve, I fell for him. Hard. For months, I lived a double life. By day, the dutiful daughter, and by night, a girl in love. But secrets have a way of unraveling, and mine did in the worst possible way. Enter my sister-in-law, Jessica, my brother's wife. She was always the type who liked being in everyone's business, always looking for ways to gain favor with my parents. I never liked her, and the feeling was mutual. One night she accidentally saw a message on my phone from Jake. I remember her smirk as she glanced at me and said, "You should be more careful." I didn't think much of it at the time, but I should have known. She was plotting something. Days later, she dropped the bombshell in front of my parents. "Your daughter is pregnant." I wasn't, but the damage was done. My father's rage was like a storm tearing through the house. He didn't ask me if it was true. He didn't let me explain. All he saw was his perfect daughter shattering the image he had built. My mother was crying, repeating the same words over and over. "How could you do this to us?" I begged. I pleaded. But in the end, it didn't matter. "Get out," my father said, his voice cold and final. Just like that, I was homeless. I had nowhere to go. Jake? He was willing to help, but deep down, I knew I couldn't rely on anyone. If my own family could turn on me so fast, who else could I trust? So I did the only thing I could. I survived. At first, I crashed at a friend's place, picking up odd jobs to make ends meet. It was humiliating, exhausting, and there were nights I cried myself to sleep, wondering if my parents would ever regret throwing me out. Years passed. I worked my way through school, balancing 2 jobs and barely sleeping, but I made it. I built a life for myself, one that no one could take away. Then one day, fate decided to throw me a curveball. Jessica, yes, the same sister-in-law who had ruined my life, was in trouble. Big trouble. Turns out, she had been keeping secrets of her own. My brother had found out she was having an affair. Not just any affair, an affair with his best friend. When the news broke, my parents were devastated. The woman they had trusted, the one they had chosen over me, had betrayed them in the worst possible way. And suddenly, they remembered the daughter they had thrown away. My mother called first. Her voice was hesitant, almost unsure, as if she knew she had no right to ask anything of me. She told me they missed me, that they wanted to see me. My father? He wasn't on the call, but I knew it was his pride stopping him, not a lack of guilt. I had dreamed of this moment for years. The moment they would realize their mistake, that they would regret ever believing Jessica over me. But now that it was here, I wasn't sure how to feel. So I agreed to meet them. When I walked into their home, the home I had been exiled from, it was different. The air was heavy with regret. My father looked older, more tired, and for the first time in my life, I saw something in his eyes I never thought I would see. Shame. We were wrong, he finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. I was wrong. My mother cried, apologized over and over, holding my hand as if she could undo the years of pain with a touch. And Jessica? She was nowhere to be seen. My brother had thrown her out, the same way my parents had thrown me out. Karma had come full circle. I had a choice to make. I could forgive them, or I could walk away and let them feel the emptiness they had forced upon me. So what did I do? Well, let's just say forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. I told them the truth, that their actions had broken me, but I had rebuilt myself, that I didn't need their approval anymore. And I wasn't the girl they had abandoned. I was stronger, smarter, and I would never let anyone dictate my worth again. Did I let them back into my life? Partially, but on my terms. Because at the end of the day, I had won. And Jessica, she got exactly what she deserved. So what do you think? Was I right to give them a second chance, or should I have walked away for good? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you want more crazy life stories like this one.